All right, we're going into vision of building systems, okay? Why a vision is non-negotiable, guys. There's a verse in the book of Proverbs, the biblical Proverbs, that says, without a vision, the people perish. And that is such a true statement. I found it in my own life. I'm sure you can think about it in your own life. How when you have no direction you're pushing toward, it makes it much harder to prosper as a person. You start falling into all the things that you have no structure to make good decisions almost, and because you're not pointing toward anything. If you're pointing toward nothing, it's very hard to do that. So, and this shows up in everything, guys. If you don't have a vision in what you eat, that's going to affect you. In your relationships, that's going to affect you. Your finances. And most people have no vision, guys. They have a vision in one thing, which is like maybe go to college, make some money when I'm out, and then they're not really like focusing on having a vision for their life, their relationships, their finances, and they may have small goals, but that's really what we're trying to do, is start like implementing vision in our life so that we have a system to maximize our time and efficiency. And that's really what a vision does, is like it puts the blinders on like a racehorse so that you can just haul and not have to worry about what's to the left or to the right, because you're like, no, that doesn't apply to me. I'm going toward this vision, this goal right now. And those things don't matter. I can say no to them. I found the bigger the goal in my life is, the easier it is to say no to everything else. And it's the lock-in effect of having a big goal. So, what a vision actually does, it's like it becomes the decision-making filter, like I'm saying with the blinders. If you got to wake up at 4 a.m., you're probably not going to be partying until 2 a.m. On a regular basis, unless you're a super freak. But it makes it a lot easier to say, hey, I need to go to bed early. My friend Jordan, the guy who created the planner, he basically said, like, he has a life vision statement, and it has to do with helping people put together the pieces of their life and helping them get traction, helping the wheels to start spinning in the direction, exactly what we're talking about here. And that really gives him a nice set of blinders and a decision-making filter to say, like, who am I going to invest in? Where am I going to spend my time, my money, my resources? Is it helping me with this vision of helping others? The vision is not, I'm going to help as many people change their oil in their car as possible. His vision is, I'm going to help as many people put together the pieces of their life. Could that mean he's helping someone change their oil? Yeah. But what it also means is it's probably going to go a lot deeper than that. And he has something that will impact everything he does in that vision statement. And really, gave me the idea to create my own. Next part in the process of having a vision is like, what's your why? Like, why do you want, I just want you guys to think about this for a minute. Why do you want what you say you want? And that's going to be a big factor. But at the same time, guys, people get like you need to have this deep why for doing everything. And, did the clouds open up and tell you that? Guys, there has been times in my life, like when I did the 100-mile race, I was like, people would be like, why are you doing that? I'd be like, because I believe that I can. And they'd be like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I just believe that I can, and humans can do that, so I'm going to be one of those humans. And there are some other reasons too, little reasons. And they kind of build toward a bigger reason. But it was like, yeah, I want to do it because of that. And then when I was in the race, it was like, well, I committed to doing it, so, I'm trying to make my word be accurate, so I'm just going to do it. There wasn't a ton of other things. I love Alex Hormozi. I saw like in a short one time, he said something like about being somebody was saying, how are you functional with your fitness? Like, it's not very functional being that jacked. And he's like, the function is to be jacked, to walk around every day and be jacked. Like, that's his function. And that's awesome. Like, it just has to be what you want. Vision isn't like, you don't need to impress other people with why you want to do it. It can just be like, hey, this is what I want to do, and, stand by that. Like, that will build a lot of confidence in yourself as well, because you're learning to say no. So don't stress too much on that area, But there'll be reasons why. So just keep that in your mind. Something we want to talk about is the 7 spokes. So this is an idea from Zig Ziglar, and it's like the vision blueprint, which will be at the bottom of this, is going to have 7 areas of your life, and it's like faith, spirituality, health, fitness, family, relationships, finances, career, and like intellectual growth, personal growth. Like where do you want to grow in those 7 areas? And the idea of this comes from, you have like a car, and if one of the spokes on the wheel is like overly long, or 2 of them are, the wheel isn't going to spin properly. And that can really dampen your life. That's where you see like a lot of burnout from people, is you can go really hard in one thing and then have the rest of your life fall apart. And I've definitely been a victim of that, or not a victim, like it was my own choosing. Like I just chose to lock in one area or 2, and it costs a lot of other areas. And sometimes you need seasons like that, and that's cool. Like it is good to have those focuses. But if you set some goals and visions, you can for your life in all these areas, you can still be, heels down on the racehorse getting it, and then still be working on these little areas. Still not neglecting your family, because you're like, hey, I'm really working hard at this one thing, but we're gonna still spend time together this week in some capacity. And that's kind of like the way I try to do a lot of stuff now. Is I don't have to. Some areas I focus on a lot more, and I'm really, heels down, but I don't forget the other areas, and that's the key. So what you do, you can create a 10 and a 5 and a 1-year vision for that using this system. And that's something you guys can work out at the end of this video. And you use those basic principles. Okay, a key thought, make sure your goals match your vision. So if your vision should have, the goals are like the steps on the path there. It's like, okay, I'm hiking up a mountain. Well, when I get to the tree line, that's one goal. It's like, get to the tree line. Then it's like, get to this next part of the mountain. Then get to the top of the mountain. Like, okay, I figured out my 1-year goal was like to get to the top of the mountain. I hit all these little goals in between. So make sure your goals line up actually with your vision. Life throws a lot of curveballs at you, and that's something, that's why it's good to have a vision and not a specific plan. Mike Tyson goes, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And it's like, you may have a plan, but not the plan is to win the fight. It's like how you move to the left, the right specifically may have to adapt and change. And you'll learn that in the planning phase. Like sometimes you have to adapt the plan. I just got a shoulder injury, the back of my shoulder. So it's like, okay, I had one training set that I was doing. I was like, you know what? I got to do a different training protocol because I need to get that rehabbed. So in the end, I'm still working toward my vision, but I had to adapt the plan. Okay, and then the focus on achievement frees your mind to make better decisions. So don't forget that. The more focused you are, the better decisions you'll be able to make. Ask anyone at an elite level. There's always a sacrifice, and those sacrifices they can either be positive or negative, and that's kind of up to you on where you end up going. So if you actually lock it in, you can make a ton of positive impacts. You're gonna have some ones that you may wish you didn't have to do, but at the same time, when you know the reward of achieving that vision, it's well worth it. Okay, so we're gonna go into action steps. I'm gonna have you do this thing called like the priority audit. And what I want you to do there, I remember this happened to me. I remember thinking like, what are my priorities? And I wrote out a list of priorities, and I was like, okay, these were my priorities. Like, where do I want them? And then you just gotta be honest with yourself. 99% of people just lie to themselves and are like, yeah, these are my priorities. And then they stop the exercise there. Well, take the exercise another step and say, hey, what are my priorities actually, and how do they not line up? And that's gonna be it may be a big kick in the pants to be like, dang, I idolize that I want these priorities, but in actuality, my life is not, I'm not doing that at all in the slightest. A big one with that is a lot of, like, if you're in the Christian religion, a lot of people are like, my priority is God, but then you look at their life and it's not structured around that at all. I think that's the biggest one that I've seen, where people like say they have a big priority and it's like, but do ya? Yeah, so keep that in mind. I'm just gonna pause this because the light is getting dark. It just started raining. All right, we're back. Seems to be blurry. Okay. So so write out a list of your priorities. And then notice the gap between your ideals and your real ones. And that's okay, guys. Like, just accept the fact that you may not be lined up. If you are lined up, sick. Then step number 2 is write out a 10, 5, and 1 year vision in those 7 areas. Just take 30 minutes and be like, in 10 years, where do I want to be from today in 10 years? In 5 years, in 1 year. And it doesn't have to be like crazy, crazy deep, just something to think about. And start, basically to help you start moving in the right direction. Ta-da. Okay. Okay, the last step is just take a picture of your priority audit and send it into the chat. And yeah, we'll see basically, hey, this is where my priorities need to be. This is where I want to get them to, as that group accountability. So add that. We love to see it, and we'll see you inside.